Alright guys, this week is going to be very, very important. Because after these two games that we have today against Austin FC, and then Saturday against the LA Galaxy, not only is it going to be the international break, but it'll also mean the absence of Diego Luna and Mecanelli for the international break. Tonight, RSL traveled to Austin, Texas, to Q2 Stadium to take on Austin FC in their first matchup of 2025, and we have a lot to talk about for this midweek battle, so let's get into this video. Good morning, RSL Nation, and top of the morning to you from Austin, Texas. RSL versus Austin FC at Q2 Stadium for another midweek battle. The second to last battle before the international break, and we got a lot to discuss. We've had some history between Austin FC, even though they've been a franchise since 2021, but we got a lot to talk about because there's been some moments between these two teams that are very interesting. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into this video. Subscribe if you're new, like this video if you want to keep supporting the channel. We go to our last meeting where RSL did travel to Q2 for their last meeting. What was it, back in September? And we start with a very uneventful first half. Nothing really happened. And then the second half, I think it was 2 minutes in, where Matt Crooks followed the rebound off of Brad Suber's save, and it's a easy slot in home, and RSL takes a 1-0 lead, just like that. And then moments after, a handball was spotted by the VAR, and the referee didn't call it in real time, so a review was recommended. Referee Lucas Spalla goes into the monitor, looks at the handball, makes the call for a penalty, and then Diogo Gonçalves says, "Thank you very much." 2-0 RSL. RSL looking comfortable, and that is when Austin had something up their sleeve. We're heading into the 80th, more than the 80th minute, and then Jader Obrian slots it past Zach McMath, and it was a very good goal. I don't think there was anything McMath can do about that. Now it's a 2-1 game. Game on. And then we head into the 89th minute where the defense completely collapsed. And then, of course, it was knocked home by a left back. Yes, a left back named Guilherme Beadle. Another slotted ball into the back of the net, tapped in, and Austin snatched a point from RSL. RSL gets a point, but at the end of the night, it was a very disappointing result. We were up 2-0, and then we gave up a 2-0 lead, and the game was tied 2-2. That was a frustrating night, and playoffs were at stake at the time because the game was in September. So, a little heartbreaker there, really. But today is a new day and a different story. Looking forward to tonight, and let's keep going into this video. The injury list has shortened up. I think it goes down to at least 4, and we have some disciplinary talk as well, obviously. So we have one player listed questionable for tonight, and that's Diogo Gonçalves with a heel injury. And then Matthew Bell, Zach McMath, and Javane Brown remain out with their injuries. And now we go to the disciplinary side of things. Catranis and Ojeda are in yellow card warning. So if they get booked, then they'll miss the trip to Carson, California to take on the LA Galaxy. Pretty short, pretty sweet. But that'll be my wrap on the disciplinary/injury report. Austin FC have some talent, And I have two players that I think that RSL is going to be tested on throughout the entire 90 minutes. Number one is going to be Jadel Obrian, transferred from Dallas, and has made quite an impact. He scored against RSL the last time that these two teams met, and I could see him doing it again tonight. So we got a real battle coming up, and then we have one of Austin FC's newest signings. He played in the MLS before with Atlanta and Cincinnati before ultimately leaving to the Liga MX to play with Rayados de Monterrey. And then he came back to MLS this winter. That is Brandon Vasquez. Goal-scoring machine. He'll do anything to find the back of the net. He scored multiple golazos. So we are in for a tough battle. So those two are going to be the players to watch for, obviously. Austin FC, I'll give you two players to watch from RSL. And I haven't mentioned the keeper throughout this time, but I will now. Rafael Cabral is going to be the player to look out for. This guy can do some basic stops, basic saves, up to the most ridiculous saves, like thinking the ball would have gone in the back of the net, but somehow, some way, he gets a hand on it and he saves it. He proved that against Vancouver, and he did that against Dallas and then Portland, and made some big saves against Colorado as well. He has been phenomenal since he arrived to MLS and to Real Salt Lake. Probably the newest version of Nick Romando in goal. And then second guy is going to be, of course, Javier Gosso. He scored his first MLS goal, the 18-year-old who just graduated out of high school. And what a way to do it with scoring your first MLS goal against Vancouver. This guy can make dangerous runs, dangerous passes. He won't be afraid to shoot from anywhere. He will be the key to success for tonight. Please start him again. And those are the two players that Austin FC will need to keep an eye out for. Without any further ado, let's discuss the Western Conference standings just right on the side of me. And Austin FC ranked 9th, borderline of playoff territory. They've had a iffy season, some ups, some downs, and they could have gone better, but at the end of the day, it's how they perform in the field. RSL definitely showed that as they go so far. They sit in 12th place on the table, and we are desperate for 3 points tonight. We need something tonight. That is going to be the wrap for the Western Conference score prediction time, and I'm going to be saying this not because I'm a hater or something, but I'm just going to say this in complete honesty. Austin 4, RSL 2. The 2 goals for RSL will be by Gosso and Luna. And then we have a goal by John Gallagher for Austin. That's 1. 1 by Javier Obrian, 2. And then 2 goals by Brandon Vasquez to make it 4-2. That's going to be my prediction. Y'all can comment in that saying I'm a hater, but I'm just being in complete honesty because of how inconsistent RSL has been all season. But there's room for improvement somewhere in this league. We're almost halfway through the season, believe it or not, but we just need to be consistent and try to get good results. You know? That is my score prediction. Well, guys, that's a wrap for the midweek preview between RSL and Austin FC. Hope we are in for a good 90 minutes. And hopefully the weather isn't too bad, because I think it was a lot in 2022 when we played against Austin at Q2 where a weather delay did occur. I hope that nothing happens, but looking forward to a good 90 minutes. Thanks again for watching this video. Smash the like if you like the video. Subscribe if you're new. I'll leave a link to my TikTok in the description. I'm posting a lot for the Stanley Cup playoffs right now for the National Hockey League because the conference finals are still happening as of right now. And then I do player ratings, post-game reactions. I talk about game day and about that for Real Salt Lake MLS and the Utah Royals NWSL. Other than that, RSL on top. Yeah. We'll see you Saturday for our preview against the Galaxy. Thank you.